Okay. Hi, everyone. I am so excited. We are in the second Girl BU conversation, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to talk to these amazing women. Let me tell you something about these amazing women. I have known one all my life, and the other amazing woman I have known since I think about my early 20s. And both of these women are so influential in my life. As you see, my mama, Kim Miller, is here with me. And senior pastor, Renee Richardson, is with me as well. Listen, these are powerhouse women, and I count it an honor and a privilege to one be blood of my mother. She's so amazing, just an amazing woman all the way around. I could go on and on. She's my best friend. She's my good cackling girlfriend. Now that I'm older, she was literally the mother that was. I ain't one of your little friends growing up. So I have learned that me and my mom, over time, we have grown, and she has literally become my best friend, my laughing partner, she's the first person that I call if anything happens. And Pastor Renee Richardson, I cannot speak more highly of this woman. This is a woman of, you talk about faith. You talk about don't care what nobody say. You talk about like stepping out into the deep and dragging others with her, even if you don't want to go. Oh, she will make you go. She will make you believe. She will pull everything up and out of you. And I know she's probably like, okay, that's enough. But I'm not done because she's so amazing. And I count it an honor and a privilege. I remember years ago when she had her and her husband had their ice cream shop. I do not forget, it was on Michigan. And to me in that moment, it was so amazing because I was like, oh my gosh, this is a Black woman, her and her husband. They are out here on Michigan Avenue in Chicago. And it just inspired me. And she believed in me as a young woman. And I was just very unsure of myself in corporate. I was like, I don't think I can do this. And she's like, oh no, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And she's always been that motivator to me. So again, I am so grateful to have these amazing women on the panel today. And I know that what we're going to talk about is something that most of us really don't want to have. We say we have, but we really got to learn how to walk in wisdom. And as a younger generation, I believe it is so important for the younger generation to lean in and sit at the lap of those that came before us, our mothers, our village, the women who are impactful in our lives, and to gain that knowledge. And so I'm going to let them share about who they are. We'll start with Pastor. I love that. Yeah. Pastor. Listen, I'm telling y'all, she's amazing. Pastor Renee Richardson, and she's going to share who she is, what she's done, and why she's so amazing. Go ahead.
Well, Gigi, I am just honored to be on this platform with my two faves, Pastor Kim, who works with us at Women of Vision and Destiny Ministries Worldwide, Wealth and Riches Today. Everything I have, she works on. So I appreciate her, and she helps me to be me. And I appreciate you to invite the seasoned women like Kim on the show because I'm 25. We're so glad to have the seasoned woman on here. No, but I'm honored to be here. I'm honored that you have this wonderful platform touching the lives of people all across the world, and that you are probably one of my answers to prayer as we bridge the gap. We're working on creating a 10-year pipeline, which means that by the time I turn 35, because I'm 25, that we have this great group of women like yourself here. So I'll go through my bio, my I Am Worth It story. So I am the female founder and chairman of the board of Women of Vision and Destiny Ministries Worldwide. She's 21 years in November. Wealth and Riches Today, which is 17 years in April. And then the brand new I Am Worth It Foundation, which turns 2 in December. So those are global holding companies. And they are places to hold the dreams that God gives us.
Wonderful. Now, she did a wonderful job just just saying what she does. And I'm gonna let her live because she does so much more.
Yeah.
But to my mama, go ahead, ma. Go ahead, ma. Go ahead, ma.
Okay.
Well, I am so excited about being here on today, and I am so very, very proud of my daughter. I am. She is stepping out and doing what God has called her to do, fulfilling the dream. Wow. And I'm sure she dreamed about this, when she was a young girl. She knows how to go into books and to bring life to her imagination. And so I am so happy to be here. And I'm so elated that she asked me to come on the screen. All right. Well, I sometimes I get a little like I don't know what to say about myself, but I am one, a mother. I am two, a wife. I am three, a pastor's wife. Wow, for 30 years now, and I believe that I have become a senior at that. That's what I feel like.
Mhm.
And I believe that I need to step into other things, which I have done. So, as senior past her, Renee Richardson has already said, and I love it. I use it. I do.
Yes.
I just don't have it on the screen right now. It's one thing she is teaching us to always put up who you are. And
Yes.
I was dealing with that, but I didn't do it. So anyway,
It's okay.
I am part of that organization, which is Women of Vision and Destiny Worldwide, and I am an author. A published author twice over, and a brand new book that is out called
Yes.
Passion by God to
Yes.
Rule the World. Ladies,
Y'all see that? Y'all see that plug? I would say shameless plug, but ain't no shame around here. That is a plug. Go get her book,
yes,
Amazon. We're gonna have it in the link.
that's
Get your book.
that's
Okay, go ahead, ma. Sorry.
right. And also a business owner. We own a daycare, which has become Care Learning Center. Our church, I need to put that in, is Life Christian Center in Bellwood, Illinois.
And you can visit the website at www.lifecci.org. Go ahead, ma. I got you.
She has to be out. All right. And we do have an app too. So
yes, we do.
They're high tech.
Yes.
And I have my own personal business, which is Kim W. Miller Inc. I'm the CEO and founder. And I have businesses up under that, which is Purple Design Consulting.
Yes, yes.
I can help you organize your business administratively, and I am tagging and pushing along my KJV jewelry, my legacy jewelry line. Yeah,
legacy.
KJV. Those KJV, Kim.
Yes, KJV.
Look at her, stunning.
Stunning. It's KJV, and I will also have a signature line coming very soon.
Very soon. So I want everyone who is watching to understand like how impactful this is for a young woman like me growing up to see amazing women like this. And one of the points, of course, my mother said all of the things that she is actively involved in, and Pastor Renee, all the things that she's actively involved in. One of the things that I absolutely love about my mother in particular is I always tell her, I'm like, Ma, you got 4 kids. None of us were in jail. None of us were involved in crime. And that's not to say that we are better than anyone. That speaks to the power of prayer and wisdom. It speaks to the ability to know how to lead your children and how to lead by example. One thing that my mother showed me very early on was her ability to lead in a way that I was just in awe by. Like, I was like, she don't not bother her. Don't not bother her. But she led with such grace and such wisdom. And so that's one of the questions that I want to pose to both of you all is, why is wisdom so important?
Kim?
Okay. You're referring
Wisdom is, first of all, described as a woman. She was there when God. Do you hear the echo? It's just me.
Oh, my.
We can't hear you.
Do you hear the echo? It's like an echo. Is it just on my end?
No, it might be on her end.
Okay. All right. So, wisdom, first of all, is described in the book of Proverbs as a woman. I want to put a little shout out for everyone to read one chapter of Proverbs a day, 31 days in a month, and you will become wiser. Wisdom is, to me, insider information on how to operate in the world. And it comes from God. It comes from God. So it's important every day to pray, to ask God for wisdom. It comes from above. So he's going to give you insider information on how to do things, and it's going to put you at a level that the average person has no idea. So you're going to be operating way up there because you have honored God and you've asked him for wisdom.
Wow. And I must agree. Wisdom is information that it's almost like information not of, but God has to give it to you, and it amazes me. Sometimes even when I am talking to individuals, and the information that comes out at that moment, He'll give you a word. God will give you a word of wisdom in that instant, the word that you will need right then. So I agree with Pastor Renee. It is insider information. It is information that you don't really have in your gun holster, but when you begin to talk, then God will load you up, and then you can go and shoot. So
Can
yeah,
I?
Go ahead.
Okay. You remember, and I may be dating myself, the movie with Trinity in it? You remember Trinity? What was
yeah,
the name of that movie?
Matrix.
You remember she wanted to fly a helicopter
Hmm.
and she said, download.
Yeah,
And that's wisdom. That download, as Pastor Kim talked about,
yeah,
is wisdom. It comes, and all of a sudden you'll know how to do things
right.
that you in the natural could have never. And she got in that helicopter. I love Trinity, by the way. Got in that helicopter, right? And
Yeah,
that's wisdom. You have an edge, and you'll be 1,000 times better. Gigi, this is your secret. 1,000 times better than anybody. No one will be able to touch you.
that's right.
All you have to do is ask God. Just ask him every day. Because she's standing in the middle of the street saying, hey. And if you look at Proverbs, she's in the crossway.
Hmm.
See, broad is the way
Yeah.
that leads to destruction. So when you see everyone running to something,
Yeah,
you run the opposite way. Narrow is the way that leads to the finer things in life.
absolutely.
Stand out to me. I like my mother self is like a field.
You sound like Darth Vader, but it's
Yeah,
cool.
it's like it. Yeah, that's what it really sounds like.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I hear Darth Vader.
Still, you're still Darth Vader.
Let me.
That's it.
Oh.
It could be wisdom speaking.
It's still that. It sounds.
It,
fast, like a really robot. I think it happens to every person your ear.
The aliens have taken over.
You guys hear me now?
Do you want us to go out and come back in?
Let's go out and come back.
Okay.
I think it's her.
Yeah, it's something reverberate. I hear it sometimes when people have fans on. It's something they're doing in the background. It may be a fan or something, and it comes through. I had it happen on mine.
Okay. Does she want us to go out too?
Yeah, let's just go out.
Okay.
No, don't. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Now,
oh.
Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So I was gonna say 2 points. 2 points that I was gonna share is one about Proverbs is that as my mother said that I absolutely have loved reading since I was a little girl. And I would climb in the attic to read books because I loved words. And I loved words so much that it just carried through all of my years. And now I just can't stop buying books. I buy so many books. Like anytime someone tells me about a book, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get it. Like I have at least 30 books that I have not read yet, but I'm getting to it. And then the reason that I say that is because Proverbs is so rich with words that actually mean so much. And it has a depth that will give that wisdom that we are looking for. And one of the things that I try to do, like you said, Pastor Renee, is every month that has 31 days, I go through the first day and I read a chapter. And it like fills me up and refreshes me because every situation that I'm dealing with, I'm like, how they be knowing? How did they know? And so, and I feel that that is one of the things that our generation and the generations behind us miss because they enjoy the broad things. The broad things bring fast money. The broad things bring, this sense of entitlement. Broad things brings a huge following on Instagram. But the narrow way is the way of quietly doing things and not announcing so much and spending that quiet time and trying to get the download. And I feel that when everything is loud, the only way Trinity was able to hear that is because she was tuned in. She was on the narrow path. So she didn't have all of these other things coming at her. And so that's why I feel that wisdom on my part is so important. Even as a young girl, I used to sit with my grandparents. Yeah. I would be at my grandparents' house talking to my grandfather and chilling with the older folks. Like I wasn't the outside kid. Like I would go outside, but I was like, ooh, I don't like stinking. I'm gonna go in the house with the adults because I just loved being around the adults to grab that wisdom. And then of course, over time, the different roles and responsibilities I had, I remember in one of my apartments, I wrote on the wall, my prayer was for wisdom and discernment because I just felt that where I was and where I'm going, that is, yes, God, I would love to live in luxury. I know it's coming. I would love to be on a plane every other day. I know it's coming. But I want the wisdom and discernment to know how to go in and out among God's people. Right. And the whole world are God's people, not just church folks, but the whole world are God's people. So you all make such valid points about wisdom being the thing that you tap into. It's a secret because you got to look for it. You got to tap in because that's how you turn your AirPods off and on. You got to tap in.
So wisdom probably built your AirPods.
Yes, wisdom was like, go ahead, tap in. So with wisdom, I know that over time, my mother told me this as well on my 25th birthday. She said, G, your life is going to change so much from the here on out. I was like, girl, no, it's not. I'm always gonna be this size. I'm always gonna be able to do this. I'm be able to eat whatever I want. Can't nobody tell me nothing. And so what I've realized is she was right. I can't eat flaming hots no more. I can't eat red sauce no more. I don't even want to hang out with the people that I used to hang out with. And my question to each one of you all, and you all can, whoever decides to go first, what is it that you wish you knew in your 20s about wisdom? What is it that I'm sure it's a ton of lessons that you probably had and know of, but what is it that you just wish you knew in your 20s?
I'll go first. What I actually wish I knew, and this would have been a point of wisdom for me, is to be me.
Mm.
To be me.
Mhm.
And I had to learn that because, one, I got married very early. I got married at, I believe we have this thing going on, me and my husband, about the age. I think it was 20. I got married at 20. And so I left from my mom's house and went straight into the house that we were creating. And I didn't know me. And so I was busy trying to figure out internally. I didn't let anybody else know that. Other people may have looked at me and thought that I knew who I
Mm.
was, but I didn't. I had no clue as to who I was. So for me, that point of wisdom would have been to be me. Don't be anybody else, but be me. Because I'm the only one that can be the best me there is. And so it has taken me a while, but I believe that I am being me right now. I am knowing who I am. And unfortunately, I won't say unfortunately, because through the process, I have learned so much. I have learned so much about myself, about my surroundings, and I'm still learning. But the point is, my point of wisdom, if I knew this back then, I would just be me.
Mm. That's rich, girl.
I need
See
my
you. Cheers.
And you're all over at my company, Rich Girls Club. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pastor Renee, what is it that you wish you knew in your 20s?
Well, Gigi, I'm just 25,
I know
so
I mean, you're still
I'm
fresh
there
in your
right now.
20s.
Oh my goodness.
But I wish that I knew how incredibly amazing God made me.
I know
Ooh.
that.
If I had known I am fashioned by God
There you go, girl. Come on.
to rule this world in my 20s,
Yes.
Mm.
I feel like reaching back there and get my globe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That means the world is here and I am here because we're seated in heavenly places.
Yes.
This is my daddy's world. When
Yes.
I worked in corporate America, when I would walk in rooms where no one looked like me and I was intimidated, didn't know where to go, grab a wall when people ignored you, or you go to church and people don't receive you because you're just so fabulous and so awesome. Or if I'd known, but let me tell you what I know. You can't go back.
Mm.
You can only start where we are today. And
Absolutely.
it's so amazing. Every day is a brand new opportunity
Hmm.
to be who God called us to be. Don't apologize.
Mhm.
Don't explain. Just be. That's what you said, right? Girl, be.
That's it.
Be. You could just create a new, just be.
Yep.
B. That's it.
Come on, let's do it. I am, right?
I
And
am.
that's it.
It's the
That's it.
most powerful two words in the universe. People
Absolutely.
get paid billions of dollars from the I am.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And that's so I find more and more with the generation after me, and I think like Jeremiah, my brother's age, because he's 22, that generation is so caught up in being something for other people, performing, to look a certain way, to act a certain way, to be a certain way. And I feel like it was hard enough for me back in 91 when I was in what, second or third grade. And I was just like, I'm so different. I like to read and my friends don't like that. Like, I loved, and my mother can speak to this, I loved conversing, like deep conversations as a little girl. Like, who does that? Me. But there is no but. Me. I had to learn that the reason that I am that way is because God was forming me for this very moment.
Absolutely.
And of course, over time, like, I'm still learning, like, whew, I don't know, people can't, people always say G's a lot. I am. I'm a lot. Some people like Sprite. Some people like ginger ale. Some people like a little bourbon. I know Pastor Renee, I know. But some people and I am a straight up shot of bourbon. That's how I am, because I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm going to be very truthful with you, but I'm also going to love you and I'm going to care for you and I'm going to empathize with you. But all of those things were things that I really had to learn. Like, I had to really learn being by myself and having friends that were like, we don't really like her. She thinks she this and that. I was, okay, girl. Now I'm like, I really don't care.
As she's speaking, I just hear the scripture says the stone that the builders rejected. So when they're getting ready to build this 30, 50-story skyscraper, they said, I don't need that stuff.
Right.
But the word of God said it has now become what?
The
chief.
Corner.
Chief.
Yeah.
So they can't build the world without Gigi, Kim, or myself.
Right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Now, they tossed us away in the beginning, right? Because I can hear the rejection because you don't fit in. That just means you've been called. Joseph, Moses, Daniel. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just part of the chosen process.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is one thing that and this is why I created this platform, to have that conversation so people can be encouraged to understand that rejection does not mean that you can't be used. Right. Rejection is the greatest place where God can use you. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, these past couple of days, I've just been really like, oh, Jesus, what are you doing? What, Jesus, are you doing? Like, I do have questions, but what are you doing exactly? And then yesterday, it was like all of a sudden Jesus was like, okay, I think you need a reminder. And he was like, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, this is why I rocks with you, Jesus. This is why I rocks with you. Because you send the reminders. Yeah. Because I was praying and reading in the scriptures, and Ephesians 3:20 came to me. And it was, I am able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all you can ask or think. That lets me know that even my small mind of being like, God's going to make me an amazing spokesperson for him. He's like, I have more than that.
Right.
And it's like 8 steps more than that. And I'm about to blow your mind. Like, what?
Yeah.
All from just diving into what he wants for our lives, tapping in to his discernment and his wisdom. And so that leads me to our next question, which is, what is the greatest lesson you've learned in finding your path? Like, so I know a lot of people are like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a fashion blogger that's big now, or I'm going to be an influencer that's big, or I'm going to go into music because, and a lot of people are doing things that are not necessarily their path. Wow. So what is the greatest lesson that you have learned in finding your path, past her, Renee?
I was going to defer to Kim. Okay. So
I know.
I spend time with God, and I make him a priority. And so when I begin to research the scripture, seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, his righteousness and all these things shall be added unto you. So I wanted to understand it because I always taught, worship God, spend time with him in the morning. But it really means it's all of you. When you go through the Hebrew analysis, and I broke it all down, and it's all of you, and it's all day long. So now here's the secret. Most people think they have too much to do to spend time with God, right? But we got to, and I'm working on my own mindset. You want to invert your day. More time with Jesus means you have to work less. That's the secret. Because once you understand how the kingdom works, then you don't have to work it. You can just do like, you don't have to go to helicopter school. You don't have to fly. You don't have to learn how to read mathematics and equate. You just bing. That's how God works. And so the enemy keeps people distracted. He keeps people caught up with the cares of life, the deceitfulness of riches, trying to be something that God didn't call you to be, not knowing what God called you to be. And so you spend all your life doing these different things and not knowing what God called you to be. So my biggest thing is more time with God. And so even last week, he said, on your Thursdays, I want the whole morning. I was like, okay, whole morning. And last week I actually did that. And Gigi's, let me tell you what happened. Kim, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So I spent 4 hours in incredible worship. And then when I got out of worship, everything that I would have been working all day to try to make happen came to me.
Mm.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It came. Do it. Come on. It'll come. More time with Jesus means it comes.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it.
You don't have to work.
He comes. It comes. But most of us never want to get to that point because we want to make it come. And you got to work really hard. But when you're with him, hours, remember Jesus did overnight. I'm starting to understand why he prayed overnight, all night. And as Dr. Cindy Trim, and he came out of prayer and he would suspend the gravity and walk on water. So imagine, Gigi, at your age, you start doing overnight prayer. By the time you wake up, after you go to sleep from your overnight prayer, things will come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Let me just interject right there and say, because I know some people might be watching this and be like, oh, this is a spiritual thing. I ain't really signed up for this. And that this is a Bible study. No. What I have learned is, yes, it is a spiritual thing. It's very much so a spiritual thing. But what I've also learned is I believe that I do a very good job of taking what you say and helping the next generation kind of understand that, because sometimes I know how I was when my mother used to be like, just give Jesus your all. I'd be like, now child, I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. But now that I'm older, what I understand now is giving Jesus my all is every decision. Giving him my day. So when I wake up, I'm like, listen, Jesus, I struggle with this, and I'm going to give you this because I know how I deal with this. Now, I'm going to go drive my car, but I'm going to need you to protect me and be with me. So those were the things that I didn't really understand. That wisdom hadn't kicked in when I was younger. So to Pastor Renee's point, I just wanted to break down a little bit more and bring in kind of like an example for me, and what you say, like, because to me that's overwhelming. Like 4 hours, Lord Jesus, 4 hours with him? 4? But that's just me. But what I do understand in the point of it coming to you is that I was very recently very, very worried about income and how things are going to happen and da 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 da. And I heard God tell me, G, get your Bible and I need you to read this scripture. It was Proverbs 9. And I was like, Proverbs 9? I don't even understand what this means. I was actually reading the prayers, a prayer book that I have from Bishop William Murphy, and it's a daily prayer. And it's just like, you just read it and it motivates my day. And at the top was Proverbs 9. I I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read it. I mean, I don't really know what you want me to read, but I'm gonna read it. And when I went to the scripture, it was literally notes that I had written 12 9 2016. Sorry, I got a little thug right there, but 12 9 2016. And I can't remember the scripture, but I remember my notes of what God told me. And what he said was write and teach in 2016.
Uh-oh.
And this is 2021. And I remember I had just moved to Texas after leaving a very amazing job that people are like, you're crazy. Why you leave? And I was in solitude, sleeping on my auntie's couch for 8 months. Didn't have no job. All I was doing was just running, just jogging, working out and jogging and praying and talking to Jesus. And he said, write and teach. So while I'm sitting here like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He's like, do what I told you to do. I said, write and teach. And so yesterday I was like, well, I've been sitting on these children's ministry workbooks and I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just go ahead and put it out here because clearly the instructions said write and teach. And so to your point, we spend so much time trying to make stuff happen and God has already given the instruction. Ooh, I feel good. I feel like my brother Jeremiah when he be like, I'm ready to preach because he gives the instruction already.
Yeah.
And we get caught up, like you said, we get caught up in, well, what are they doing? What are they doing? He already gave us the instructions on how he's going to do what he needs to do. So go ahead, mama. Like, what is your greatest lesson in finding your path?
My greatest lesson is learning to hear what God has said and do what he said. You just brought up a huge point that God will tell you something, long time ago. He'll tell you to do something, and it's so easy till we like, no, I couldn't be that. It just could not be that. And you really kind of push it to the side. Because I remember, now I'm getting ready to go down my lane. I remember, when we were at, what was it, 5125, I think. Not 25, but whatever, 5101.
5101.
5101. When we were just starting the church, and I remember in prayer, my God, I remember the prayers that I used to have in that building. And I remember one day just being in prayer, and I heard the voice of the Lord say to me, right. That was it. Right. And I'm like, wow. I was obedient. I started writing. And then I just stopped. It was like the writing just ceased in me because I got distracted doing other things. And so you're absolutely right. We have, for me, the greatest lesson that I have learned in that is hear it and then do it. And then stay on the wall. And here it is. I don't even know what year. That was in the 90s for me. And so, I did it, but then I stopped. And then I felt as though I lost it. That was such a hurt on the inside of me. It was I'm like, I felt I lost my purpose. That's the way I felt. I felt like I'm just a wanderer. I'm just wandering. Because I know that God put me here to do that, to write, to teach, to talk, to encourage. I know that's what I'm here for. And so I just felt like, I have totally lost it. I didn't tell anybody, but that's what I felt on the inside. And then 2020 hit. And then COVID hit. And then COVID hit me. Oh my God. That took me to death's door. And oh my God, did I have an awakening. So the greatest thing for me is to hear, to do, and God will give you a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chance. Yes, He will. But you must be obedient to what He said. I had an awakening. Oh, yes, I did. I had an awakening. My daughter saw me. Uh, my friend up here, my sister, pastor, past her, El Renee
We
Richardson.
were praying, girl.
Praying,
They didn't
travail.
see me.
Yes,
You
yes.
didn't see me, but oh my God, my daughter saw me. So I had that awakening. You don't want to get to that point. You really don't, because you want to just, have that communication with Him, have that relationship with Him, and be obedient, because we all have been placed here for a reason and on purpose, for purpose. That's why I am so strong with that. I'm always saying it. I don't care. I do videos. Oh, I forgot to talk about Conversations with Kim. How did I forget that? But I do my videos every morning. And somehow I'm always back to it. We have a purpose. We have been placed here on purpose, for purpose, to do His purpose. Come on, we could just keep going with the purpose.
Right,
Yes,
right.
because it is not about us at all. And that is another thing that is great for me. I have learned it is not about me. It is not about me. It is about God's purpose that He has placed on the inside of me to give to whomever. We don't know whose lives we are touching. We don't know who we're supposed to be in front of. And uh, I've gotten many words from people, and they're saying, and they see. God will allow people to see what you are supposed to be doing. And I think that's just a point of encouragement for you,
Yeah.
so that you can get in there and you can really do it, and you can seek Him,
Yeah.
because you can't do this thing by yourself. You have no clue. It's only by the help of God. It's only by His insider edition.
Tap in. We should have named this Black Women Tapping Into God's Power. Tap in.
That's wisdom.
Yes,
It is.
yes.
Come on, wisdom.
That's the only thing. And if I could just say this, and then I'll hand it back to you. Um, I was cleaning up some things in my room, and I don't even know where this book popped up from. I still don't even know, but it popped up. It was a magazine. It was an interview that I was a part. Someone was interviewing me in 2010, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so, I got interested. I got my picture on the front of this magazine, and go inside. It was two of us, two pastors' wives, and I was one. And I started reading what I was saying. I was like, this is something right here. Now, why did it pop up right now?
Yeah.
Popped up so that I could see the growth, so that I could see what I said back then. Does it still stand true today? Oh yeah, it does, because it was my history. And and to the point of what Gigi was saying, or G, I just call her G.
Right.
But G was saying that she was so different when she was young. Well, that was some of the stuff that was being brought out in the article, in the interview. I said, man, both myself and the other first lady, we both had that same testimony, that we were so different. Nobody, and people call you stuck up. They call you this, they call you that. It wasn't that. It was being the chosen, as Pastor El Renee said. We're just chosen. We were put over here, and you just didn't mix. You just didn't mingle so much. People just couldn't take you because you're just too much. But it was just so amazing how I found that magazine. It's almost like it just appeared. I'm like, now where has this book been?
It was saved for an appointed time.
Yes, most definitely. So the greatest thing for me that I have learned is to hear, to obey and then to just do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
So I absolutely love that, and we're gonna do two more questions, and I'm trying to decide which question I really want people to hear from you all, because I think these questions are really amazing, done by me.
They are.
um, just very quickly, I know we talked about people on their paths and, us being on our paths. And recently I now have mentees, and I think I was telling my mother or my sister, I was like, wow, I guess I'm like a real mentor now. Cause people be calling like, gee, you want to go to brunch? And I'm like, okay, cool. But it's all younger women who are like in their 20s, fresh out of high school, going to college. And they're just, and I count it an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, because I feel that those were some of the things that I just did not have growing up. I didn't have someone who was closer in my age and going through things that can say like, okay, look out for this. Here's this. I know you want to do this, but it was very few and far between. And a lot of it was left up to me kind of navigating and leaving my mother sitting at the feet of Jesus praying for her oldest child, because I was a mess. I was a mess. And so one of the things that I see a lot of times is this generation, of course, those that are just fresh out of college and just navigating and coming into adulthood, they're struggling with the idea of, I got to get a degree. I don't want to get a degree. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be out here. I want to be amazing. I want to do this and I want to do all these things. And then when it doesn't land the way that they necessarily think that it should, it's like, I'm a failure. I'm a give up. I quit. And maybe because I was raised a little different. My parents really didn't give me a whole lot. When I wanted a new pair of shoes, my daddy was like, if they 60, you got to come up with half. What? Where? I'm
Love
in
it.
8th grade. Where am
Loved
I
it.
coming up with the 30?
Yes.
But that mindset, and they didn't save me. Like my father didn't run to my aid. Like he kind of sat back and was like, she gonna figure it out. She gonna get it. And now I'm very much like, listen, if we out here, we got to figure it out. We got to get it. We can get it 20 ways. We can get it 100 ways, whichever way we can get it. And so I just find with this generation, they're not as resourceful, and they're waiting for someone to hand them $1 million. They're waiting for someone to quote unquote give them the bag because they deserve it. So how do you, as the generation that lives in the seat of wisdom, how do you encourage that generation if they come to you like, man, listen, I'm fed up. I'm out of here. I ain't working. I ain't doing none of this stuff. It's supposed to come to me. What advice do you give them when they like helpless, when they're really not, but they're helpless?
Okay. Kim, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I will, because I know you're gonna bring something out the cloud.
Remember, when you pray, it comes to you.
It does. It does. It does. It does. Well, for me, as you were talking, I was just thinking, I said, for a generation to have that type of mindset, that means that their creativity is lost. They do not have the sense of, I can create. I can get to my creator who created me, and he can give me something to put my hands to. So I believe that I would, I would give some of my past of how God has shown me to get in there and to be creative, to call on him, to find out who he is, because we were created, we were fashioned. Come on now. We were fashioned by him, made by him, shaped, form. And then he said that he the scripture just left me in Genesis where he said that we were
Made in his image.
made in his, thank you, baby. Come on.
I got you. I
Made
got
in
you.
his image and in his likeness. Now, if we're made in his image and in his likeness, we see that God did not wait for anybody to give him anything. He opened his mouth and
And
spoke.
spoke. Yeah.
And it came into existence. And so if we're made in his image and in his likeness, I would say that to this generation. Listen, God created you, and he put that same thing that he has, he put him in you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should be speaking, you should be moving, you should be believing, and then put your hands to it and create. Nobody's going to give you anything. You
That's
have
right.
to go, and you go to your father, and he'll show you how to connect the dots. You know, that's it. Tap in.
Tap in.
Show
And
you.
then he gonna drop it.
That's it. He'll drop it down, and he'll send them to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be me, and then of course I would wait to hear from God to give it to because you for various generations you have to be able to present certain ways, and so God gives you that wisdom on what to say and what to do,
Mm-hmm.
how to
Mm-hmm.
bring them in. But I would totally say you need to be creative, just like your creative father.
Yeah. Yeah. Past her, Renee.
Okay. Um, if there are 4 seasons to life, everybody. Spring, that's 0 to 25. What comes next? Summer, 26 to 50. Fall, 50 to 75. And then winter. You have to do things in seasons. So they used to teach women you can have it all. And then women found out at 40 when she went to have a baby, after she put a career as a priority, she couldn't have baby. And so now we have all these fertility specialists that are doing gymnastics with the woman's body, the dosages, the hormones, you hear women talk about just to have a baby. Well, if she had it in her season, it would have come naturally. So as a young person, I'm going to say they're 18 years old. You got to go in the season, go to school, get your education, and don't just get an education, be in the top 2%. If you're in the top 10%, you will always be employed. Always. The world likes the best. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, black woman, white, Jew, you don't even have to speak the English language. Just be the best. Take the color level off and just be the best. So you go to school, you're the best, and you work according to season. When you're in your junior year, that's when you start looking for a job. And if you're smart, you get interns in your freshman, in your sophomore, in your junior year. So by the time you come out, everybody's clamoring for you. Top GPA, top in experience. What did God tell you to do, G? Write
And teach.
and teach. If you can do those skills, you'll always be employable because you're the best. And you can write. Writing come on, I can't reach over there. The ink pen is the most powerful force in the universe. An ink pen, because when you write it, you're prophesying to your future. You are saying, this is what I want. I wrote down my life in 2017. I went through all the different pillars, wrote out my whole life. Didn't know it worked. It is manifesting today. Wow, this works. That's why the kingdom works that way. So when you're young, you're not supposed to be an entrepreneur. You're supposed to go to school, get an education, be the best. Then you come out and you get you a good job. Because let me tell you the difference between an entrepreneur and working for somebody else. Entrepreneurs got to pay for everything. Your social security, you got to pay for your health care. You got to pay to make your bit. It's too much pressure at that age. You go to work, though, for the company that you want to in the future, because you have vision. That's what wisdom is going to tell you, that you want to be. So let's say if you want to work in technology, you're going to work for the best. You go, because you're coming out of school, Apple's work, they're going to only hire the best, the top 2%. Everybody wants to work for Apple. If you work for Apple, you're the best. They're not going to hire anything less than that. You go to work for Apple, you stay there, and you become the best. right? You run the companies inside of Apple. You take all of that knowledge, all of that wisdom, and then you launch your own business.
Yep.
That's how you become successful. You don't go to work, try to become an entrepreneur, try to become a parent, try to become a mother, try to do church. God never designed for you to do everything at one time.
Right.
So you find out what season you're in. And so when people work counter season, you really got to work at supernatural. Right? Because you're asking God to do what? Redeem
I know.
time.
time.
Yeah.
He's going to redeem it. So let's say you wasted, let's say you're 50 and you wasted 50 years. The only way to redeem it, come on, ladies, what?
Happy end.
Right? Only way.
I know.
Come on.
That's
Come
right.
on. And that's what I like about Jesus. I know you all don't want to hear preacher, but I'm going to preach to you right now. When you tap in,
Yes.
he redeems it.
Yes.
He redeems molestation, imprisonment. Come on now. Joseph came out of prison and became, is that practical for y'all? Number 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
VP of a foreign country. Who does that but Jesus? Come on, ladies. Let's do what? You got to do what? You got to tap in.
Yes.
I can't do it. I'll turn off my AirPods, so I got to air tap in.
Right?
But that's good. And I believe that that's what's really important, is that life is full of seasons. There were things that I did not know when I was in my 20s. I just didn't know.
No.
And I thought I knew. I was like, I got this thing figured out. I know. But I did not know. And even now in my 30s, I look back to my 20s like, girl, you were really dumb. Really, really dumb. But I wasn't dumb, not in the sense of being dumb like that. But I was just unaware.
Right.
I had so much inside of me that I didn't know where to put all those things. But all those things I believe God put inside of me so that I can pull it out later. So that now when I talk to my 22-year-olds and they're like, I'm like, calm down, girl. It ain't always gonna be like that. Calm down. You know, yes. And even for me at 38, there are seasons, and I am learning that comparison kills. And I had a moment. Part of my moment was, God, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And he's like, girl, you are right where I want you to be for right now. Your tail shouldn't have been on there looking at that stuff anyway. Because I was like, well, this person, look what they did.
Right.
They only did it in 3 years. And God had to remind me, you didn't see what I brought them through. You don't know their story of how they got here. So comparison is a thief of your current joy. Me comparing myself to somebody else that's been in the game, doing it underground for years when nobody was paying attention. It's their turn.
Preach.
It's their turn right now.
Right.
So while it's their turn, celebrate, learn, and get to work.
Right. Now, if I could say, that's what stopped me from doing my videos. I was watching everybody else. I'm looking at everybody else and I'm just like, and then I became paralyzed. You become paralyzed, you know? Yeah. And I was like, When I had my way,
I had to remind her, like, girl, come on.
Yeah.
They need to hear this.
I just said, forget it. And just went in there. And I said, I don't have nothing to say.
I remember, and we'll end up here in a moment, but I remember listening to, I'm always listening to different podcasts and reading different things. And I can't remember where I heard it from, but I remember someone saying, if the scammers believe in their lie that they're giving to people, you out here telling the truth. So tell the truth.
Yep.
The scammers believe their lie.
They do.
They believe the lie that you know what I mean? And changed my perspective. As crazy as that sounds, it changed my perspective because I'm sitting here worried. I'm like, they don't even know what they're talking about. It doesn't matter because they believe the lie that they're telling and they are sharing it as if it is facts, as if that's how much they believe in themselves. The scammer believes in themselves enough to feed you a lie.
Oh yeah.
So if you're out here telling the truth, speak on, my sister. Speak on.
All right.
Because what are we doing?
I am. I'm going to speak on.
Exactly.
That's
We
right.
are standing in the shadows, second guessing what God told us to do. And he already told us to write and teach. He already told us to write. He already gave us the answers through prayer. He made the way open and we on another road. He's like, baby, if you don't get off that road, you done rerouted your own self and I ain't even tell you to go over there. And you like, I can't see my exit because that ain't your exit. You on the wrong, exactly. He wanted to take you to Harlem and you all the way on 294 South trying to get to Harlem. And you ain't never gonna see the exit.
Never.
You will never see the Harlem exit. That's only for Chicago folks.
Yeah.
You will never see the exit Harlem on 290 going south.
That's right.
You won't.
That's right.
And you'll be frustrated and upset because you're on the wrong expressway. He told you to get on 290 at First Avenue and then you were gonna see it in 3 more stops. So the point is, let's walk in wisdom.
Yeah.
Let's walk in wisdom. And to the young generation, my generation, the generation after me, get around some folks that done live. Your friends are in the same boat as you. Y'all are in the same speedboat talking about y'all about to go to the island. Baby, you're not going to make it. You got to get with some folks that got some wisdom. They knew how to plan their day. They knew how to plan their money, and they are on the cruise ship, baby. So you must learn to walk in wisdom, to align yourself, not just with the material things and the cares of this life, but you must learn to align yourself with that which is of God. Align yourself with the word of God. Align yourself to where you can hear him clearly. And you only learn a person's voice by being around them. I remember my dad saying, my son knows my voice because he's been around me.
Wow.
He's been around me. And when we say, I don't know God's voice, I don't know what he wants me to do. Because you ain't been around him.
Right.
And being around him just means rising in prayer, carrying your day through prayer, and through maturity, your time with him will mature. Because when I was 19, I thought that a good meal was at Ruby Tuesday. Because I was 19 and I was on college campus. Now, baby, you're going to have to take me to the Capitol Grill. You're going to have to take me to Chicago Cut Steakhouse, baby. You're going to have to take me to the water. You're going to have to spend more than the $20 two for 20, baby. Because my maturity has changed.
Yeah.
My palate has changed. I'm not interested in just running the streets with no destination. And that's what happens in our walk with God.
Yeah.
You want to know where you're going. And when you're with God, he will lead you in the places where you don't have to waste your time, where you don't have to waste your energy, where your joy is not killed. So those are my last words. Pastor Renee, Lady K, Kim Miller, what are your last one sentence that you want to leave people with? Just one sentence in which you want to leave people about wisdom. I know that's tough, but
is the principal thing. Make sure you have it. Don't leave it behind. Don't run past her. Stay right there and let it guide you.
I want to let everybody know, no matter where you are, no matter what you've done, no matter how much time you've lost, all you got to do is tap in. Tap in. Just tap in. And all that time, God will redeem it. I want you to hear that. Because you're not, and I'm violating my sentence, but you're not in a place you can't be redeemed. He can redeem it.
Absolutely.
And he will redeem it.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I love you ladies so very much. This will be live very soon. It's actually live right now on YouTube, and we'll be sharing on all of our platforms. Thank you so, so, so much for always imparting your wisdom, for always believing in this little brown girl. I appreciate it. I love you all so much. And listen, y'all, if you're listening, y'all better go get y'all some women that got some wisdom. Don't y'all be hanging out here and just spending all y'all money. Get y'all some people that got some wisdom. Because these folks, they got wisdom. They got a little money because they know how to save. All right. Y'all have a good one. Girl, be you. Have a
Thank
good one.
you.